I am Curran Bhatia. This is Ask the Experts. I am joined by Josh Pieters. So, Josh, obviously, you've been well known in YouTubing and vlogging, everywhere on social media, but you recently made a splash in the boxing world. And how you did that was you went to the KSI Logan Paul fight and you brought a special guest, Ed Sheeran. Well, we
Yeah, I
thought it was Ed
did.
Sheeran, but it was actually Ty from Manchester, an impersonator. So, how did you even get this idea?
So I was sitting at home in London around like the Wednesday, the week before the fight, which was going to be on the Saturday, and I had no plans to go. But I was looking for ideas, and on my YouTube homepage, everything was just about the KSI Logan Paul boxing match. So I thought I need to make a video there. I consulted with a friend of mine and guy who works for me named Archie Manners, and we basically came to the idea that if we could get a really good look-alike to the fight, that would be funny. And we went from an idea of having the Queen and then Harry and Meghan to what might be a more realistic option, being a fake Ed Sheeran. I'd seen Ty on, I think, a TV show before. So I looked him up, got hold of him, organized that, booked flights, booked tickets for the fight. And that Saturday, we flew out to LA for the fight.
That really is amazing. So, first of all, Ty from Manchester, right? He's an actual impersonator. This is what he does for a living. So that couldn't have been cheap to book him and then fly him all the way over here.
Yeah, so it was obviously a very cool experience, I think, for him as well. Like he was a fan of the fight, so he was quite up for it. And I obviously covered his expenses and travel and accommodation and tickets for the fight. And then yeah, he has a fee which I paid to him, but he was worth every penny because he was just brilliant on the whole trip, and he really did look like Ed Sheeran.
Oh, he looked exactly like him, and we'll get into that in a second. What also struck me that was really interesting was that he'd never even been to LA before. He was only there for this, and it was 24 hours and back, which is amazing. Now, when you first requested the tickets, how did you go about that? Did you email someone and say, "Hey, Ed Sheeran's coming"? Did you buy actual tickets? How did the ticket situation happen?
So what happened was I knew it would be way too late to like try and get tickets from anyone, and the event was so star attended. It was, Justin Bieber and Rick Ross. I don't think there were many tickets left, so I went onto StubHub and managed to find two ringside tickets, got those. Then once we arrived in LA, word started to spread that Ed Sheeran was in town. I think Casper put something on his Instagram story, and someone saw that Ed Sheeran was around. So when we got to the event, they had organized red carpet access for us, VIP lanyards. So we walked the red carpet and then walked straight into the VIP area. And as soon as people thought Ed Sheeran was there, with sort of without our doing, we started getting contacted by the owner or the head of the Staples Center and all sorts of VIP people offering us to come into different rooms. And then obviously, as you saw in the video, go ringside to sit where Rick Ross and Dan Bilzerian and Justin Bieber would have been sitting. So it kind of all snowballed without us actually doing that much, which was better than we could have hoped for.
And before you actually even went into the arena, there was the pre-party, and there was a lot of famous YouTubers, a lot of people with a big social media following, and you tricked all of them. Now, when people were coming up to the fake Ed, did you kind of egg it on a little bit? Did you just stand back and watch? What was your role when this was happening?
For some of the YouTubers, I luckily had Casper there with me, who has been in the YouTube scene for a long time, so he knows a lot of the bigger, older YouTubers. So he would introduce Ed Sheeran to some of his friends, and they were very excited and took photos with him.
I believe Ed Sheeran's here.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, dude. We're all one big family.
Yes, there's Ty, his sister Sarah, and his parents Suzanne and Jonathan. But it wasn't just Roman who got excited.
Ed Sheeran's here.
I know.
And then for some of the other YouTubers, it literally just happened. It was quite strange because you're in a room with people that I would normally probably be quite intimidated by because of their huge online following. But we seemed to be the people in the room that everyone was gravitating toward. We were sitting on a table in the corner having a beer, and there were, very famous people starting to linger around our table just to get close to Ed Sheeran, I think.
That really is amazing. So you went to the pre-party, then you go inside the arena, and you guys were kind of sitting on the ground floor, but in the back. And then someone, I think from the zone or someone else, invited you to the front, like you said, Rick Ross's seats, Justin Bieber's seats. So how did that happen? How did you get a seat upgrade?
So we were sitting in row 4 of ringside, which was amazing to start with.
Yeah.
But because people thought Ed Sheeran was there, there were so many people coming from all around the arena to try and get a photo with him, especially because the main fight hadn't started yet. So it was kind of acceptable for people to be walking around. And the security then said, "Come with us. You've been called to come ringside." And I saw in an interview Eddie Hearn had done afterwards that he obviously said, "What's Ed Sheeran doing back there? Get him over here." We went and sat ringside, and then I could hear Joe McCoskey and Eddie Hearn speaking next to me, with Ty being on the other side of me. And Joe McCoskey was going, "I'm pretty sure that's not Ed Sheeran." And he was discussing it with Eddie Hearn. And then eventually Joe said to me, "Look, is that Ed Sheeran?" I didn't really want to lie to him because I think he knew. And I was like, "Look, no, it's not." And to be fair to him, he was amazing. He just said, "We're big fans of what you're doing. It's really funny, but we do need these seats for some of our mainstream celebrities." So at that point, we went back to our original seats in row 4 and enjoyed the fight.
So Joe, of course, head of the Zone, which was the streaming service which carried the fight. Eddie Hearn,
Yeah.
head of Matchroom, which was the promoter who put on the fight. So first of all, I just want to say I thought Eddie Hearn did a great job in terms of putting on this event, right? Bringing these YouTubers who have their following, getting new eyeballs to the Zone and boxing. So I thought that was great. And to hear what you just said, I think that's great that they were able to kind of have a laugh about it, right? Was there ever a moment where you thought, "Hey, if they find out, they may kick us out," or were they generally very happy?
We were terrible. I was terrified when I could hear them speaking. I genuinely thought I'm not going to be able to see the fight because I thought they were going to kick us out of the whole venue. I mean, you can imagine some people might do that, but they were really cool about it. They just said, "We like what you're doing, but the real Justin Bieber is about to show up, so we need the seats for him." But if it wasn't for them spotting it, I really would have been interested to see what would have happened, because I think Justin Bieber would have sat down next to Ed Sheeran, and I'm sure he would have figured out pretty quickly that it was Ty from Manchester. So that would have been interesting to see. But at least no one figured it out for the rest of the night except for those two.
That really is funny. And if you can watch a video where Eddie Hearn talks about what happened, he said it was brilliant. He was a great sport about it all. And so that was great. So now you watched the fight. Now, did you have a chance to even watch the fight, or was it so crazy? Did you have any reaction to KSI getting the decision? I interviewed the referee who took away 2 points from Logan Paul. Did you have a chance to watch the fight?
Yeah, luckily for me, because I guess the video wasn't so much about the outcome of the fight, we could watch it all and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. It was a great event. They're obviously not professional boxers, but they are technically professional boxers, but they both fought really well and better than I think anyone could expect anyone to fight after only training for 2 years. And I was really happy to see JJ win. That was really exciting. And then it meant that we got to go out and party and celebrate afterwards, because we're obviously all friends and part of the same community from the UK. So that was really exciting and a perfect end for the video, and especially for Ty. I think he grew up watching a lot of these guys on YouTube, so he got to party with them as Ed Sheeran, which I think he enjoyed.
No, and that was part 2 of this, which is what I wanted to ask you about next. So the fight finishes, and then you can see on your video that you guys are going straight into the after party, partying with KSI. Everyone in the club thinks it's Ed Sheeran. So let me ask you, was KSI in on it at that point, or did he think he was partying with Ed Sheeran?
No. So a bunch of the British guys at that point knew already, because they'd been with us the whole night. So we filled them in on it, saying that KSI did know that it wasn't Ed Sheeran at that time. But except for the people who were with us, the whole club legitimately thought it was Ed Sheeran. When you saw the champagne bottles come out with the sign saying One Oak loves KSI and Ed, that was completely unprompted. They just did that. So everyone else in the club genuinely thought they were having a party with Ed Sheeran.
So it's one thing to trick a room full of people, as you guys were exiting Staples Center, fans are coming up, and it's one thing to trick people in person like that, or even at an after party. But afterwards, it was on the Sun, it was on the Zone broadcast. So when did you realize that? Hey, wait a minute! I didn't just trick people here. This has become a worldwide thing. That Ed Sheeran, quote unquote, was at this fight.
Yeah, a bunch of just my friends, I guess, who'd seen on Twitter sent me screenshots of loads of tweets that were going around. We saw that Sun article on the night, so that was really exciting because we knew that it was working. And then I got a bunch of tweets as well recently saying it was on the local radio that Ed Sheeran was in town and was at the boxing fight. So that was hysterical and just satisfying that it worked. And everyone thought it really was Ed Sheeran. So that kind of topped it off that we tricked people who weren't just at the fight or at the after party.
And when you look back now at the whole process, now you've put this up on YouTube. I'm looking at it right now, 4.2 million views. So I know that's one of your highest views ever. So you overall with everything, are you happy the way that the entire prank and the video went down?
Oh, so happy. I couldn't have dreamt that it would have done this well. I never had a video that performed that well that quickly. So I am very relieved because it was quite a gut decision and a last minute thing to do to book it all and go. And, I was very scared that we'd turn up and people would say, who's that guy who looks a bit like Ed Sheeran? But luckily it worked and the video came together. And I had Casper there helping me and Archie back in London who was helping me as well. And between the three of us, we managed to make it work. So that was great.
And you mentioned Eddie Hearn, kind of noticed during the event. Was there ever another time where someone was close to noticing? And then also after the event, now that this has been revealed, has anyone contacted you, like Staples Center or anyone, and saying, hey, this is not okay, don't do this again, or anything like that?
Yeah. So I know Eddie Hearn in that interview said he was the one saying it's not Ed Sheeran. I'm fairly certain it was John Markowski who was saying that's not Ed Sheeran, but you'll have to ask him. I don't know, but obviously they were fine with it. I haven't had any negative feedback from it. I think the important thing we did was we never actually told anyone specifically that it was Ed Sheeran. The majority of people came up to him and just assumed it. And other than that, I think it's quite a harmless prank, even if you were pranked by it. So no negative feedback so far.
No, definitely. And there's a difference between, you didn't sneak into the event, you bought tickets, right?
No, we bought tickets.
There's nothing illegal there at all. And if people offer you a seat upgrade, taking that, there's nothing wrong with that either. So
exactly. And once we got asked whether it was Ed Sheeran, we said no, but we did buy our tickets. And I guess Hollywood is the most sort of celebrity centric place there is. If you're a celebrity, you seem to be able to get a whole bunch of stuff. So that was cool to see, or interesting to see.
So just to kind of wrap it up, you've done a lot of different pranks. You've had a lot of success on YouTube. Where you've tricked reality stars into thinking they're on a fake TV show. You had influencers promote gravel. You hatched an egg in a supermarket. So where does this Ed Sheeran prank rank in terms of all the stuff that you've done?
It's hard to say. I think in terms of a video that appeals to the most people, it's right up there. And I mean, it's definitely up there in some of my favorite videos. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably at the top, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I think after every video I make, I always think, I try to always think that's my favorite video. So maybe next week I'll say that's my favorite, a new one's my favorite video. But for now, the Ed Sheeran one is my favorite. Yeah.
And you mentioned next week. So just looking ahead, can you clue us in on kind of what the next prank
I wish
video would
I'm
be?
trying to figure it out. I'm trying to top that. So I don't know. Once I figure it out, then I'll get back to you. But so far, I'm still trying to come up with something.
And do you think you'll maybe stick to do something else in sports and going into arenas and things like that?
Maybe. If the idea is right, potentially. I'm a big sports fan, and I grew up playing. I don't know if you know what cricket is, but I played a lot of cricket when I was younger, and I watch a lot of sports. So yeah, I'm a big sports fan in general, and actually more recently a boxing fan. I did a charity boxing match last year, actually, which was really cool and got me into boxing for the first time. So yeah, definitely keep doing some stuff around sport.
Yeah, I've never heard of cricket, but it sounds great. So just to wrap it up, where can people find you? Obviously, you're all over social media. Where's the best place for people to follow you?
Yeah, YouTube is probably the best one. So it's just Josh Pieters. Pieters spelled a bit weird. It's Pieters. And yeah.
Well,
Casper says if you look for him, please spell his name right because everyone spells his name Casper, but it's actually Caspar. Said I must point that out.
absolutely, definitely. Well, definitely noted. And I wanted to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for entertaining us with the skit. I wanted to congratulate you. I know you hit 1 million subscribers now. It seems like you've skyrocketed past that, but I'm sure good things are still coming. So thank you so much for taking the time and taking us through this hilarious Ed Sheeran bit that you did. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, man. All the best.